Three shapes A, B and C with angles 28, 101 and 49 respectively fit together at the point P. Will they make a straight line? Justify your answer. If they make a straight line, it's got to be 180. Okay, so let's add them up together. So we have 49 plus 101 plus 28. When you add them together, do you get 180 degrees? No. What do you get? 170? 8. 178 is not a straight angle. So what you're looking at is just basically something like this, really straight looking, but then at the end there's just going to be that tiny, tiny little deflection that stops it from being a straight line. 2 degrees. Okay? Now that one's done. We're on to number 16, okay? In an isosceles triangle, there is always an obtuse angle. Is this statement true or false? What does an isosceles triangle mean?
3 sides are the same.
2 sides are the same. There is always. So basically, can you think of a triangle that is isosceles but doesn't contain an obtuse angle? Sorry?
There's no obtuse angles.
Sorry, a isosceles triangle is always an obtuse angle triangle. Okay, is that possible? Alright, it's possible, but it's not guaranteed. I'm going to show you. Here's an example of one, alright? 70, 70, 40. You'd agree that that's an isosceles triangle, right? But I could also design one like this, where I do a really wide top angle, and basically what I have here is something like this, 30, 30, 120. So the bottom line is, it can happen, but it's not guaranteed. Is that alright? So it's false. Okay? Next one is in a right angled triangle, one of the angles is obtuse. Is the statement true or false? This one is impossible. Okay? And the reason why it's impossible, it's got to be false, because the biggest angle in a right angled triangle has to be the right angle itself. Because if you have any other angle that's an obtuse angle, an example of an obtuse angle would be 100. And that already adds up to 190. It's impossible. Your two angles are only allowed to add up to 90 degrees because the full triangle has to add up to 180. Therefore, it's false. Always false. Okay? Equilateral triangle is also an acute angle triangle. Is the statement true? What does acute angle triangle mean? Acute angled triangle. Anybody know what that means?
They're all less than 90.
An acute angle, yeah, they're all less than 90. And for an angle to be equilateral, all three of them have to be 60, because all three sides have to be the same length. So therefore, equilateral triangles have to be acute angle triangles. Okay? Alright guys, that brings us on to number 20, okay? In the diagram, the angle QPR, now I need you to get familiar with the names, how to name an angle. Okay, so the angle QPR is 2x, the angle PQR is minus x. Prove that PQ equals PR. Does anybody know how I can prove that PQ equals PR? What do I need to do? I have to prove it's an isosceles triangle. What would that mean? I need to prove that this blue angle here equals the red angle over there. Now this blue angle is called the angle, what's its name? P or Q. The angle P or Q equals 180 degrees. The full triangle adds up to 180. And take away the two other angles. Minus 2x minus bracket 90 minus x. What happens here is you're going to get 180 minus 2x minus 90 plus x. 180 minus 90 is 90. Minus 2x plus x minus x. It's 90 minus x. And what have we noticed about these two angles now? They're the same. So this is isosceles.
How do you ever do the 2x?
Sorry? Minus 2x plus x. So it's an isosceles triangle. Okay? Isosceles triangle. Go on, what questions do you have? What I'd write in at the end is this: angle PQR, which is this one, equals angle PRQ. Therefore, PQ equals PR. I'd write that little part at the end just to show that this angle equals this angle. This next one is a reasonably difficult one, 22. I'm just going to show you how to explain your answer here. If actually everybody can just look up at this one, it'd be really useful, okay? Everybody, no matter Jack as well. Okay, just look at this one, right? I'm just going to show you how to label stuff and formally show this one, okay? The first thing I'm going to say is angle QPS. What I'm going to say about the angle QPS? What size is it? It's 75 because it's opposite angle, okay? So you're going to say it's opposite the 75-degree angle, okay? The next thing you're going to say is we're looking to prove that PS is perpendicular to RS. Now where is PS? PS is here. Okay, so we just draw this in here. That's PS is there and RS is there. How do I prove that that is, how do I go about proving that that's perpendicular? It has to be a right angle, so I'm looking to prove that this angle here, the whole point of the question is to prove that the angle PSR is 90 degrees. That's the goal of the question. And to do that, I have to get every angle around this to make that point happen, okay? So, proof that PS is perpendicular to RS. Okay, the next one is going to be the angle, this angle here. What's this one called? QRS. Angle QRS equals, anybody? 105 degrees. The reason being is, straight angle adds up to 180.
How do you answer straight angle?
Because it doesn't change direction. And sorry, what I mean by it doesn't change direction is the line stays the same direction. It just doesn't do this. It doesn't go like that and then moves upwards. It stays in the same slope all the way through. You don't see a change in direction, do you?
No.
No. So that's why we're allowed to do a straight angle there, okay? So the straight angle there is 105. Now finally, what do all four sides have to add up to? 60, okay? So angles, what's the word for a four-sided object? You could say angles in a four-sided object add up to 360, but four angles in a quadrilateral add up to so you're basically explaining, they'll actually ask you in the question, they'll go, do the maths to get it, and then they'll ask you for a written explanation of what rules you did to get it. So the wording is actually quite important. So we're going to get 360 minus 90 minus 75 minus 105, and that will give us our 90 degrees. And because it's 90 degrees, we know that they're perpendicular to each other. Okay? So that's, is that the last question I had to do? 21? 22 as well? I didn't give you 22. I did? Okay. Okay. Complete the following tables. Okay, so the diagram shows a square, rectangle, parallelogram, and a rhombus. Okay? Rhombus. Okay. Opposite angles are equal in measure. Well, they're equal in measure for the square, so that'd be A. Equal in measure for the rectangle. Equal in measure for the parallelogram. And the rhombus I'm drawn. If you do this, okay, if you grabbed your square and almost grabbed the top part of it and moved it along, what you'll basically do is you form a rhombus. All four sides are the same length, but in the rhombus's case, this angle equals this one, and the red angle equals the red angle, but the red angle does not equal the green angle. So we're asked about opposite angles, so that does apply for the rhombus A, B, C, and D. Okay, all sides are equal in length, only for the square and the rhombus. Okay. All angles are right angles, only for the square and the rectangle. Diagonals intersect at right angles. So basically, if you were to draw something like this, do you think that looks pretty much like 90 degrees?
Yeah.
And what about the rectangle?
Yeah.
Rectangle is no. No.
What?
It has to be like the same length for it to intersect at perfect 90. Okay? This one here, this also won't intersect at 90 degrees. And this one here, I think that one will. Yeah. Now lads, if you're stuck in a test, you can very easily just draw 2 or 3 of them and just draw some diagonals and just measure the angle if you're stuck. So we're going for A and D. Diagonals bisect each other. What that means is it cuts the line in half. It does. That's basically the midpoint of both lines. That's the midpoint of both of those lines. That one will be the midpoint of both of them, and the midpoint of both of them. So all of them, A, B, C, D. Okay. What I mean by bisect is it cuts the line you drew across in half, which it does. How would you check that in a test? Just measure using a ruler. Draw 1 or 2 of them. Measure using the ruler. You can verify it yourself. A square is a rectangle. True or false? A square is a rectangle. Okay. A rectangle. Do you know what? Okay, guys. The definition of a rectangle is any quadrilateral with 4 right angles. Excuse me, guys. A square is a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. A square also has 90-degree angles on each side. Therefore, a square is a rectangle. All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Basically, so false. Oh, sorry, true. Now, guys, a rhombus could be a square. A rhombus, that is false, because a rhombus can't be a square because a square needs 90-degree angles. Once again, I'm actually just going to double check. So guys, every rhombus is a 4-sided object where all the sides are the same length. Every rhombus is a parallelogram, okay, because parallelogram has a 4-sided object where the opposite sides are parallel, and every rhombus with a rhombus with right angles is a square. So this means, in fact, that a square is a rhombus. Can a rhombus be a square? True. The reason being is rhombuses have 4 sides that are equal, so do squares. It doesn't matter setting the angle to 90 degrees. Okay?